I'm back for one more. I've been on vacation the last week and a half, and it's kind of hard to go to bed on time on a school night. But I'm going to go out in a pretty good way here. I don't know when I'll be back online, honestly. It may be a couple days, so better enjoy it while you're getting it, right? But listen. This is a Mars Anomaly stream, all right? I've got a very interesting gigapan that I want to show y'all. And I mean, very, very, very interesting. One second, one momento. Now, this video will stay up on the Mars Anomaly channel, and I will share that. I will share that on the community tab. But listen, this is MSL. Yeah, this is MSL 2737MR. Link is in the description. But before we get to it, that's something else I feel I must show you. Now, shout out to Chris over there at Mars Anomaly and Beyond. I was catching one of his recent streams, and I really like what he's been doing lately. He knows Photoshop quite well, right? And he has managed to pull out some things from some of these photos, some of these official photos that NASA has put out here to the public, right? Now, we talk about this all the time over here about how NASA's constantly photoshopping fake sand, all right? Fake sky, literally. I mean, really, really shitty Photoshop jobs too. It's so bad that I've gotten to the point that I am marking the Photoshop fails in my giga macro work, so to speak. So I do have an account, and I do mark these. I've started actually marking some of these, or really pretty much all the interesting finds that I come across. And I've been also marking the Photoshop fails because, man, there's not one photo typically that I don't run into that has been significantly Photoshopped by NASA. Now, let me show y'all something here. And I love it. Listen, I can tell. I can absolutely tell by looking at this photo. I can see some photoshopping going on. But listen, NASA's really bad for fake sand. Not only are they really bad for trying to Photoshop in fake sand, another, and the clue, right, to sort of understanding what NASA's doing is understanding what capabilities you have in the software current day, right? And that's how you reverse engineer it back. They like to spray textures as well. I've caught that a lot. I've also caught where they're copying and pasting textures on these so-called rocks, all right? Here, one thing I just want to mention too, there's a channel, Anton Petrov, right? I think he's got 1 million subs or something like that. He doesn't typically like just do Mars content. He does like a lot of other geeky, nerdy type stuff. It's kind of right up my alley. And I don't know. It's just something when you see such a smart person refer to these things on Mars as rocks, it's just kind of like, no, man, those are not rocks. And, I do have to give a shout out to Art Alien TV because the whole doorway, he came out with that at least 6-7 days before I seen it in the press. And I also seen Chris over at Mars Anomaly and Beyond cover that gigapan as well. So check this for just a second. I want to show you. Now, this is what I really enjoy, and I put a link to this video in the description. I'm going to put it in the live chat as well. But what I like about this is Chris has figured out the right layers where he's able to like pull things out of these photos from the Photoshop jobs that are done on them. And here's the thing. A lot of times, if you let your eyes just relax on a lot of these photos, you'll be able to pick up what's underneath the texture spray that, you know, that NASA uses. Check this out.
Okay. You can still see that blurriness right there. Let's keep going. Now what I do is I try to burn to see if we can bring any lines out, right? Try different ways to see if we can get this out. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. You're going to start to see this area right here become clearer and clearer. Okay? Concentrate on this area right here. And then what I do is this area right here, which continues below this blur line, I'm going to actually fill that in so you can see the whole piece. Okay? Here we go. Check this out. Let's do this. Let's back up. Notice the line doing this. Okay? And it looks like there's a thicker piece right here. Now, also notice these pieces here. Okay? Something right there. Okay? Let's keep going. Okay. You can see that sliver now. Right there. Notice the squares and the straight edges in between. But again, like I said, look down here. I can see this actually coming down and going back up. Okay? Let's keep going. Notice the line right here. Just by burning, this came out better. The line started to pop. Yep. You can see the lines are actually there. Okay, let's keep going. I made this white, and now you can see that line. Now let's go black and white on this. Now, the question is, what is this thing? And what are these things? Folks, I'm not sure what to make of these. Couldn't tell you. There's more areas right here. As soon as I started to use the dodge tool, anything that was white popped out. Now, you can see little segments and little areas that have the most detail.
Let me tell you something. That is amazing. And you can very clearly, I know that he's definitely hitting on the right spots here, because those shapes I've talked about before. I don't think these are rocks at all. I have no idea what they are, but there's like a geometric thing. And this is just my theory. Of course, others, they have theories about what they believe they see on Mars, and I absolutely love and enjoy. I love hearing all theories, right? My current theory is that remember how I've talked about Mars ivy or rock ivy, right? My theory is that there's something about the geometrics, and it has to be, it's exact every time. Different shapes, but I think that these shapes just grow bigger, is what I think. Is that a form of life on Mars? Who knows? Who freaking knows? But I know one thing. Before, after. Before, okay, after. That is incredible. Look at that horrible shopping jobs that's going on. I mean, this should be illegal as fuck. Like, why would you even release the photo if you have to do that much photoshopping to it? I mean, basically, you're covering up 90% of the photo. There's been some photos that I've come across that are so just, what's the word? They're so watered down with Photoshop that you can't even really pull anything useful out of it. And I think that the people can take it, I really do. I think that the people can take it. So anyway, when y'all get a chance, go over there and watch this video. I'm not going to sit up here and play the whole video or nothing like that, just a minute or two, just to kind of make my point. about this photoshopping that NASA is doing. Even in some of the shots, I can see some very similar things that I've seen on the side of some other. See, sometimes I think NASA either lets some slip through or they don't. Either they don't know how, but more so especially the older photos, because Photoshop and all that fun stuff, it's not what it used to be 5 and 10 years ago. Some of those features and functionality that within Photoshop today wasn't there 10 years ago. And so, I mean, I've even found, and I've even showed it here up on my channel before, we have found square box-like looking rock with eyes, okay? Perfect spheres, triangles, all sorts of stuff. And two, here's another a good question that sort of came up, because during my vacation time I had found something else, and I haven't really came out here to really prove it yet. I mean, I did on like 1 or 2 photos, but I know I could go through and really prove my case on this. But you'll notice there will be something in the photo. It almost looks like it's a burnt pixel in the sky. But if you zoom in, there seems to be a black sphere and a lighter shaded sphere, and it's equal in distance throughout the entire sky frame. Now, not in this particular photo, but if you go look back at the last stream I did, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, is that because that's what's really happening, or is it because NASA is copying and pasting the Martian sky? Who knows? Let me tell you something. This one here, MSL 2737, if you haven't had an opportunity, you should really take a look at it. Doesn't look like much of nothing on the face, but zoom in if you dare. Let me tell you something. I have found some very interesting things in this particular gigapan. Things that, I mean, it is so, here's one of my favorite finds so far. I'll just let that sit there for a second. It looks like a 3-eyed turtle or something. And I'm talking about this here. This looks like a little rounded shaped turtle with something on its back. When I tell you I've been marking the hell out of this gigapan, I'm talking some amazing things that look like lizards, things that clearly look like they have 2 eyes looking back. But my theory, and you can take it for whatever you want, but you notice how you'll look at just this little section here and you see a set of eyes here, a set of eyes here, a set of eyes here. Everything seems to be connected. It seems like there'll be like 2 arms that come out of the side, connected to the head, and then it duplicates. A new head, and then 2 additional arms, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing like that. It's kind of similar to what I've seen on those rovers. Every single rover that we have sent to Mars, including the new InSight lander and even that new Zhurong lander, I have been able to identify that so-called Mars rock ivy stuff, whatever. I don't think they're rocks at all. But there's definitely something growing on each and every one of those rovers. No question. Now, I don't know if it changes with the seasons. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I've been making some really incredible finds. I've been having a lot of fun this past week and a half. Have to go back to work tomorrow, but hey, Mars, you anomaly hunters or whatever, you won't be forgotten. I'll be back in the saddle in due time. But hey now. Hey now, hey now. The dream is over. Other very interesting thing that I found, and I don't know if I'll really be able to show it from this particular gigapan, but another thing I found in some of these images is that not only are things geometrically almost perfect in some cases. Look, you can see two eyes, one eye here, one eye there. It almost looks like a gargoyle looking back, a deformed gargoyle. But what I've noticed is like you'll see an object and half of it will be black, the other half will be white. The half that's black will have a white eye. The half that's black, oh no, I'm sorry, the half that's white will have a black eye. The half that's black will have a white eye. Listen. Don't listen to me. Just go look for yourself. That's all I got to say. But it is something that I have picked up from looking at these photos. And I've looked at thousands of these over the years, man. Thousands. Thousands. Looks like a turtle with 3 front legs, doesn't it? Turtle head sticking out. But the thing is, and this is just, again, a theory. If you really look at this, you see, I think this is probably the head, but it looks like there's a head with 2 eyes sitting on top of it. It looks like there's several heads coming out from this thing. Even one right here. Stretched out, almost covered with sand. Is this even real sand? I highly doubt it in a lot of cases. And again, you get to looking at this stuff. If you really relax your eyes, once you've looked at so many of these, you start picking things up. And now, I know what they say about pareidolia and all that, right? But this isn't pareidolia. It's just a common thing I'm picking up. Period. I'm not seeing, clouds that are becoming faces or, or nothing like that. It's nothing like that. But look at this. Isn't that something? It almost looks like the rocks are moving. And what if they are? And honestly, this pinkish sand here, I bet you $1,000 this is Photoshop texture spray. I mean, oh yeah, look. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. Look at that. That's clearly Photoshop right there. You can actually see the very smooth outline there. No question. No question. So what are they covering up? They use that tactic, the spray, the texture spray. You know how you can make a painting in Photoshop. You can give it a texturous feel by using, a certain type of texture, so-called spray, I guess you could say, or coloring or whatever. I mean, third eye, you probably know what I'm talking about. But they, people do this all the time. And NASA also did that. And I'm going to show you an even worse example of this, all right? On the Perseverance back shell that was shot by Ingenuity, the so-called drone helicopter, all right, that was attached to Perseverance. Very clearly, a lot of that was going on. And I mean a lot of it. We went through this image the other day, and I mean, look at that. Look at that. So you mean to tell me you're going to put this brand new drone copter up in the air and we get back some nonsense like this? Is the real question is, what is NASA trying to hide? You can see a shitload of, this is texture photoshopping right here, where they're spraying a brown color, similar, a little darker, from the rest of the photo, but they're covering up You can cover things up by using that tactic. They're doing it all within this photo. It's everywhere. I mean, it's kind of interesting because if you actually notice, if you actually gauge direction, right? Look over here at this photo. It's like, okay, that's what they were trying to hide. Oh, look at that. What the hell? What is this? What is NASA trying to hide? But the thing is, maybe people that have been looking at these photos a lot longer see more than what newbies would see looking at it. But this is another fine example. And I'm going to show you another example of them using texture spray as well, right on the back shell itself. They have sprayed white on this back shell to hide what's really around here, not to mention a lot of the photoshopping that's going around it. Listen, I would bet $1,000 right now, cash, because I most definitely know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not no artist, but I do know computers quite well. I've gotten so used to looking at these. Come on. What's really going on, right? Where's our perfect speared circle from this photo in the other photo? And what's going on with this thing that almost looks like a snake coming up out of the ground? But yet it's nowhere to be found. Where's that perfect ring-looking spear at? It's not there. It's not in this photo either. Neither is that snake-looking object. Not to mention the fact that the inner part of this so-called net, it isn't even laying the same way in each of these individual photos. So, yeah, I would say there's a whole shitload of salmon colored, textured. Look at that. There's a shitload of salmon colored, textured photoshopping paint spray that is being put on these images. This one in particular. For whatever reason, NASA does not want us to see what's in the rear left side. Because not only are they covering it up with a heavy Photoshop job, and I think I marked this the other day. Look, the Photoshopping is horrible. I marked this the other day. And this is the side over here. What's NASA trying to hide? Maybe they feel like we can't handle it. I'll show you one more thing that I felt was really interesting in this image. This little guy right here. I said, oh, okay, hello there. Yeah, this little guy right here. Looks like a white something, some sort of little white creature with black eyes. But I see that a lot. One of the other working theories I've had is I do from time to time, I started picking up white shapes. And what's interesting is that they may be wide when you're looking at them, but they're flat like. I know that maybe sound a little bit confusing, me saying that, but again, there is some photoshopping texture spray going on here, but you'll see like these two-eyed white little creatures, just like a head and two legs. And there'll be thousands of them all together. And who knows, maybe that's the way life is on Mars. Hell, I don't know. But I don't think these are rocks at all. And here's the other interesting thing. It's almost like sometimes when you come across these little white creatures, it's like they're magnificently white. Almost like they're either shining in the sun or NASA sprayed some straight white on them. And I don't know about that. I mean, surely they can. I just think there's more to it than that. But it almost looks like a rock is kind of lifted off the ground. It's got a head lifted off the ground looking at the rover. Just theories, and we're all allowed to have them. But I've found some pretty incredible things in this particular gigapan. So again, this is MSL 2737MR. I think it means, what is it? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That is incredible. What the hell, right? That's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to skim through this just really quick. I might mark a few things and then I'll be out of here. I'll see y'all in a couple days.